And Zainab is live in Maiduguri with more insights on post-insurgency initiatives by stakeholders aimed at reverting Borno State to its original status as the home of peace and hospitality. Hello Zainab, what are the peace managers saying and doing in this regard?
Hi Dennis, maintaining peace is an integral part of human life and development. Borno State has over the years witnessed individuals, organizations and different government agencies coming up with peace-building initiatives for the state recovery from the ashes of insurgency with varying impactful projects. One of such organizations is Allamin Foundation for Peace and Development, doing things differently beyond building and sustaining peace to directly empowering victims of insurgency and repentant Boko Haram's members who have undergone radicalization for them to be self-reliant and sensitizing them on being vanguard of change and peace. With me here is the Executive Director of Allamin Foundation for Peace and Development, Hamsatu Allamin, who is going to tell us what transitional justice is and the development so far in Borno. Ma, please, what is transitional justice and how does that work in Borno?
Thank you very much. In fact, in a complex context like the one in northeastern Nigeria, where a lot of atrocities have been committed, anger, issues, and then frustrations have been generated. In fact, so much so that where each and every stakeholder claims to be a victim, including even the Nigerian military and then the vicious Boko Haram itself, not to talk of our community of victims and their relations, then transitional justice seems to be the only solution that will impact douse these tensions. In this regard, therefore, this transitional justice has its 4 pillars, where number 1 is the truth-telling, where each and everybody will come together to tell the truth and then show remorse and seek for forgiveness. And then secondly, the government will try to institute some institutional reforms, and then where justice and others can be meted out. And then thirdly, also where reparations also can be introduced for some reparable damages and injuries, as well as finally to guarantee non-occurrence of the situation we feel is the best solution. So in this regard, honestly, we have done our perception study to seek the and sought mobilize Borno stakeholders to develop policy recommendations on their perspective for peace and recommendations, and then their precondition for peace, and then handed it over to the Borno state government. In fact, we are part of the government committee on the this development of the Transitional Justice Initiative too. And then we have also now in the process of building capacities and will. So with all these preparations on ground, I think what we'll do is to call on the federal government to support the government, Borno State government of Professor Babagana Umar Zulum, to impact full the necessary impact legal, institutional, as well as implementation framework, so that in fact as the people are well organized to kickstart this transitional justice process.
Okay, Ma, between insurgents and the victims, there are loss of lives and assets, which are issues at stake. So how do you put that into consideration?
Really, victims have genuine concerns and genuine fears. But then at the end of the day, in fact, every stakeholders have agreed that reconciliation is the only option left, not because of the insurgents themselves, but even for our own selves. Hence, in fact, everybody wants to be part of the solution now. So what we did is, we understood the perception of the communities and then the victims, and then as well as go back to now understand what is the request, what are the requirements, what are the needs of the insurgents themselves, particularly their women and children, and then the young men in the community as victims and their relations, as well as survivors of the conflict, so that we have now developed a charter of demand, which we will now present. In fact, with this charter of demand in one hand, and then the perspective of the communities and victims in the other hand, then we instituted what we call, now we have set up some community dialogues forum in all the communities that we work in, and And then we have also identified young, agile young men and women who are now serving as community advocates so that they can enlighten our communities on transitional justice and then the need for reconciliation. And then we have, in certain cases, we have even started bringing about the radicalized women themselves and community members, particularly women and the youth, so that they can sit down and then understand each other.
Right.
At least
Thank you so much, Ma. And that does it from here. It is back to you, Ladidi, in the studio.